I had to get off a little earlier, but I must have said some things that probably ticked off a person or two. And I was talking about Stockholm syndrome. And whoa, that light is hot. Not the mic is hot, the light is hot. The light is hot. The light is hot. And so yeah, I kind of made a little comparison talking about Stockholm syndrome. And some people was really upset about it. And so and I still kind of stand by. I kind of really still like what I said. What's up to Fairy Ozzy? Oh, I see the pretty blazing. Anyway, pretty blazing, you a regular. Please look up Stockholm syndrome for me. And print it in the comments, please. I just made a reference to it. That's all. A simple reference. God is good. Thank God for another day. And we are here just trying to talk about some things. Please talk back to me. I know I got some people that love my lips. And when I say it, I don't mean it in a great way. I mean it in a nice, cynical way. So I'm on with the good, cheap chapstick and some water. And I'm ready. Let's go. Let's talk about it. Anyway, Stephanie, what's going on? How's it going, my brother Travis? I'm going to tell you something. The brother Travis, man, I think not only is he a good patriot and a good guy, because like you just said, God is great, but he might be a walking like what they call it when like a not only a thesaurus and an encyclopedia and a this and that, but this brother on the research, he got the button. So y'all don't get the brother twisted now. Don't get him twisted. Anyway, so I was just really concerned. I don't think it's really nothing funny about what happened yesterday. I actually don't think it's nothing to actually joke about or laugh about. But I don't control people. You know, I don't run anything. But when I see my people, 34 counts, yeah. How's it going? 34 counts. Satanique? I don't know if did I say that right? Yeah, 34 counts. I mean, like, I actually kind of thought I wasn't surprised because the Democrats kind of showed us they don't have any restraint. That is something that we have learned. But I'm gonna be like really this might not be for everyone. But as always, I'm trying to bring certain messages to certain people in the community, and certain other people around the world actually agree with it. I actually support it. But my people, my color, yeah, you can call him my boy or whatever. I'm talking to people my color. People who happen to depend on the very system that we're watching. Here's what I found. I probably can't. All right. Anyway, Stockholm syndrome. But anyway, so people who actually depend on that very system every day. The poorest people in the world, the darker people in the world, the ones that face more crimes and more situations than their counterparts, sometimes for the same crimes. Tracy Murphy, don't waste your time. He cannot tell you, I promise you, Tracy, please don't waste your time. It is people like that. They have nothing better actually to do. And they are hoping they learn something. That's why they put something stupid to actually get an answer or a response. You're right. Thank you. Anyway, you're right. And so thanks. We're watching the very system that millions of blacks, I don't care whether it's this country, or you can narrow it down to every county, wherever blacks are, every state, every inner city, wherever we are, we find ourselves. I mean, I'm not saying there are no black people that are in an upper echelon of so, but I'm saying for the most part, reality is reality. And black people, the poor people, Spanish people, poor people, and there are some white poor people, but black people are depending on the same court system that we are applauding every day. Every day. And like Trish Ann is trying to tell somebody, you either watch the trial or you continue to get speaking points. But my points right now is actually off of the trial. Because what's done is done, and there's nothing we can do about it except for continue to be strong people of God and hope that this country that calls itself the country of God don't continue to embarrass itself in front of the world. That's all we can do. But for my people, I'm gonna be honest with you. I was looking earlier today. I looked last night. Every time I go live, it's mostly my people that do the most of the critical things. And they get on here and they say all kind of things. And these are the people that don't have a bone of work in their life. So don't listen to them. Yeah, you're right. Not a country. Actually, they don't. You're right. They don't say a country of God. They call it the nation of God or a Christian nation. So I don't know if that was meant to be a correction, but it actually didn't help. They call this the Christian nation. So what I'm saying is hopefully it won't continue to embarrass itself with some of the things that they've been doing. I don't know what upsets you about that, but apparently you're thinking one-sided and you're only thinking about the trial. Like I said, I'm going a little bit farther than the trial. Sorry if that offends you. For my people, there was something that happened in, I talked about something with Stockholm Syndrome. Yeah. Hey, that's what they said during Pearl Harbor. Let me see. Trish Ann, you say they are poked the sleeping bear. That is what the Japanese realized when they bombed Pearl Harbor. After a while, that is what one of the generals is on record for saying. We poked the sleeping bear, meaning they hit America and they messed up. So you're definitely right. The founders never meant it to be. Okay. Well, you can argue with the money, the almighty dollar that you put in your pocket, whoever's arguing about this ain't a nation of God or it was never intended to be a Christian nation. Idiotic statements like that shows that you don't have what people call common sense. That is why I say sense is not so common. But anyway, let me get back to it because some people actually listen. And so we're watching, my black people, we're watching the same system of government by the same person, ironically. First the crime bill, and now turning the justice system against Trump. And I don't know, we won't call it the Trump bill, but first the crime bill, and now this Trump sham court charges and whatever else they can come up with. That's almost identical to what the people that were held captive or tortured and held captive in the Stockholm Syndrome, in the Stockholm robbery. And for people that are supporting and applauding the same court system and the same man that said to black people, because of your color, I am going to punish you. I am going to torture you. Trump accountable is corrupt, or maybe it's Trump that is corrupt. Do you think everyone that holds Trump accountable is corrupt, or maybe it's Trump that's corrupt? Anyway, for my black people, understand this. When you are applauding this, you are applauding a same system, and not only the same system, but the same man directly. We're not even talking about slavery. We're talking about one individual doing one act. And what we saw from Joe Biden with the crime bill was an attack directly on black people, and he tortured black people. When I say torture, I mean a mental and a torture through the court system, the way we were sentenced and things like that. And now this same man has turned that same pen, the power of the pen. Oh, the mighty power of the pen. That he used the pen against black people to form the crime bill, and it hurt black people with, I mean, you're talking about a man that's probably responsible for over 1 million incarcerations of black people. I mean, like, do we get that? YouTube. Do we get that? TikTok? We're talking about one man who is possibly or more responsible, directly responsible for the incarceration of possibly more than 1 million black men, women, and children. And when I say children, I mean young men at the age of whenever they wanted to sentence them. Me, myself, I know all about it because I was sent to prison as a juvenile. So I know what I'm talking about. And so I'm saying this same man is directly responsible for now turning that same pen. Let's go Boston. Yeah, Broadway J. I'm with you there, brother. Yeah, that same man who turned that pen against black people with the crime bill, and that is indisputable. That's indisputable. That same guy has now turned his pen. Maybe they're arguing with somebody else. Sorry. So now that same man has turned that same pen against Trump and has done things that no one has ever done in history. Man, I think that's scary. And I think the blacks that are applauding it, you make yourself look like you know no history at all, like the blacks that call me some type of Uncle Tom, but somehow they're supporting the man that called his mother or father or grandfather or grandmother a predator, an animal, and said they don't want their kids going to school with you. But you calling other black people who support Trump Uncle Toms. I think black people who find themselves calling a Trump supporter or Republican an Uncle Tom, they really have to ask themselves who they're supporting. I mean, because you're supporting the guy that called your mother or father directly an animal. I mean, he used the word super predators, but if you're not that smart, you won't probably know what that means. So I'm letting you know what it means. That's right. Hey, man, who is this who know what they're talking about? Trish Ann knows exactly what they're talking about. A lot of people don't understand. A lot of people just simply don't understand. People say that so fast. And people say, I asked somebody today, did you hear what Michael Cohen's lawyer said? They said, F Michael Cohen's lawyer. Wait a minute. Who is Michael Cohen? He's Trump's lawyer, right? He was Trump's lawyer, but Michael Cohen's lawyer is not important when he's directly contradicting every single word that came out of Michael Cohen's mouth. I mean, like I said, it's not about the trial for me. It's about my people that are my color actually don't understand. They're celebrating the same guy that slapped you down and the same guy that still has an effective effect on your community to this day. By the way, the Trump administration, Donald Trump, got rid of. I wanted a piece of paper. Yeah. Joe Biden's crime bill, Trump. Obama looked at the crime bill. No big deal. Obama, President Clinton looked at the crime bill. Monica, come here. No big deal. Donald Trump looked at the crime bill. For these blacks that don't understand this, Donald Trump looked at that same crime bill that Obama said didn't matter. And this is what he did with it. And that affected about 25 black men's, women, and children's lives to this day. And it's still going. So we're talking about a man who directly assaulted black people with a pen, with the law, with this pen, the power of the pen, or the power. The pen. Anybody remember Batman? Anybody old enough to remember Batman? Jack Nicklaus. Did I say that wrong? Ooh, they're going to eat me up if I didn't. Yeah, the pen. The power of the pen. Donald Trump turned that pen on black people. I meant to say Joe Biden turned that pen on black people a long time ago, called it a crime bill that was responsible for more than 1 million black lives. I do believe that, of women. I'm talking about being incarcerated, black lives incarcerated directly because of his bill. And he has turned that same power of the pen against a former president. I don't know what part some people are missing, especially my black people. I mean, we are the ones that are begging the court system for mercy every day. We can admit it or not. And it might not be some of these it might not be some people on here in particular. Marvelous Prawns, as the song say, float on, hey, float on. Ah, yeah, man, float on. Get your sorry behind off here if you don't like to listen to facts. Because, by the way, those people that don't like what I'm saying, they are the ones that are directly guilty for voting for a man that directly slapped them in the face and said, because of your color, I'm going to lock you up or lock up your friends, or your colors, your friends and family that look like you, your sons or daughters that does the same crime, by the way, that their white counterparts might do and get not even a percentage of the time. You can support that, brother. I don't. But what I am saying is, when you support it and support the man that does it, and then 40 years later does it again to a white man, that means there are no holds barred, my brother. That means that same institution of law that you love, that you are punished by, and you can't even realize it. You might be one of them black people that say I ain't black. You might be. I don't know. I really don't know. Or you might be a coward that's hiding behind a name that sounds black. But what I am saying, and I can say directly, if you are black and you see this and you are supporting it, you got to understand you are supporting your captive, your captor. You are somewhat supporting, in a sense, your slave master. This is the man that wrote the laws to hurt you. If you are in my generation, this is the man that directly wrote the laws that hurt you. And if they hurt you, they're hurting your grandchildren today. How do I know? Because his laws hurt me. So yes, somebody is going to want to say, you shouldn't have sold drugs in 1989. You're right. I should not have sold drugs in 1989. So I did that. Punish me in 2024. But what I'm saying is, I can see and directly don't have a problem discussing the issues that I know it has on men when they come home, or men when they try to come home and raise their family, fit back into society. It's a never going effect. It's an ongoing effect. And now you're saying you support the man who's also turning that arm of government against a sitting president, and you think it's just because of Donald Trump. That's why you're so ignorant, because you think it's just because of Donald Trump. All right. So I'm sitting down, and honestly, the more I think about it, it made me think of, so they got sentencing. And so the sentencing is about 4 days before the RNC. What do you think is going to happen? I'm actually asking for a conversation instead of just idiotic thoughts. And I know my guy Travis just having a blast telling dummies things. Trump is done, says Indora. Or did you miss? Yeah. All right. So anyway, I may have, and I don't know if that was directed to me, but let me tell you something. I don't mind jail comments. That lets me know that you're a person that lives in the past. But if you're talking about a past, I got out over 20 years ago. So if that makes you have a judgment on a man that spent time in prison and got out and has given 20, 25 successful years to community, to nonprofit organizations, have flown all around the world doing what I'm doing right now that you can never do because you're a dumb coward. If you were talking about that, you want to judge me on something that I did in the 80s, go ahead, my brother, have at it. I love your intelligence. I love it. It actually makes me feel good to see that some of the people that I thought were stupid, they aren't so stupid. Things like this help me realize that stupid people are spread out throughout the world, and there's nothing you can do about it. So all the people of God, you gotta look past stupid people like I'm failing to do right now. So Lord forgive me, and let's keep on. So we're talking about 4 days before sentencing. I want to know, what do people think about that? Do you think he'll miss the RNC? Because that would be very effective. Let me see. Just like you live in the past talking about Trump. Wow. Something happened yesterday and this guy calls it the past. Oh, wow. He's smart. Trump caught speeding. All right. So anyway, do anybody think that's actually by design, that the sentencing is a few days before the RNC? Doesn't have to attend the RNC to be, let's see, to be miming. I agree. He doesn't have. I know. Yeah, you're right. Let me see, Mr. Enzo. You're right. He doesn't have to be there. I do understand that, but just like you see with everything else, Trump has a huge effect. Just by Trump's name, as you can see what happened in New Jersey, you can see what happened in Brooklyn. You can see even for the haters that came out to protest. So Trump's name is a huge draw. And it actually brings more attention, more people, more support, more funding. So I'm just saying, if they can keep him from the RNC, that would be effective. Yeah, it is. Solomon. Hey, Solomon. I like what you said. I mean, I'm gonna just say I like what you said without even knowing what you're talking about. But I will say this: this is sad, because it shouldn't be about Trump at this point. I mean, like, I don't understand how people are missing that. But anyway, and so if he could keep Trump out of the RNC, you're right. He doesn't have to be there. He can come on a screen streaming. We understand that. It's not the same. How effective? And is that part of the mission? At the end of Trump's presidency, immigrants entering the country more than doubled. That's a statement from someone. They don't really have their names, but that person know that I'm reading out their comment, and that's a true statement. I mean, you can like it or love it, but that's a true statement. Hey, I thank you, Trish Ann. I love you. Thank you. Stay a nice person. I appreciate that advice before you go. I'm trying. Love seeing short kings do their thing. Keep it up, King. I appreciate that, Mike. And you know, it's really trying to see what's in the future. I mean, if you don't think about it, as some people say, you know, some people don't let it bother with them. Let me tell you something. I actually support. I love those strong people that sit back and say, you know, I'm just got a confidence and faith in God where I don't let that bother me. You know, I get it. I mean, you're strong. I get it. And I'm, you know, and even at some point, I think you have to get involved. You know, even with that, you just have to do it knowing that God is still in your corner and has your back. But for me, it's like one of the things I feel like God say I can do, tells me to do, and sometimes I do, and sometimes I'm a little stubborn because of people like these people. But anyway, God is good. I'm wondering, has anybody who has seen Civil War, the movie Civil War? There's a movie called Civil War out. What happened to Trump building the wall? Terrence Brown wanted to know, can anybody, I wish my guy, I know if Travis saw that, he probably hit him with a million facts. But can anybody, at least he's asking a decent question and not coming out just criticizing. So he said, what happened to Trump building the wall? Well, I can tell you a little bit about that. So there's a thing called the House and there's a thing called the Senate. Trump had neither when he first, during the whole presidency. He had it at first, but he didn't hold it. And he did not want to walk in being a bully president like Barack Obama was. So I will tell you, he built over 500 miles of that wall. And then he built the rest of the wall, and it was ready to be put up. And as a matter of fact, if you look on YouTube, you can see it all on the grounds of Texas. You can see it all out over the ground, everywhere, laid out. So in a lot of ways, I don't want to say you did it because I don't know how. I don't want to play like I'm a tax guy and I'm that smart and I know all this. So I don't know whether that will be state money or federal money. I'm assuming, but some taxpayers' money was thrown to waste. And I think I want to be sure. So I'm gonna say I think they sold all of that gate now for 5 cents on a dollar. And that was almost 200 more miles. So it didn't get put up. Not only did it not get put up, but they spit on the taxpayers by saying, we're not only going to spit in Trump's face by leaving the wall on the ground and let it rust or whatever. It looked like it didn't look good, to be honest. And but we're going to spit in the taxpayers' faces as well and sell it for dirt cheap. And so that's what happened to the wall, my brother. You can kind of look that up and verify it if you want to. But also, even more importantly, the reason why he had to stop building more than what he did build is because of the Democrats who did not want the wall. The Democrats who had the power to stop him, so he had to actually go into the defense funding. He had to actually go into military defense funding to fight for America. You wanted the truth, brother? There it is. That's what happened to building the wall. The Democrats got in the way of it. And as you can see right now, the border is open. I got a song about it. It's called I'm on the Road to Texas. Download it and check it out. Anyway, so that's what's going on. Why do you think the people in Texas are fighting the federal government or chose to tell the federal government, we'll fight you? Why do you think that is? Because the Democrats don't want a wall or a border. And Texas says, if you can pay for a border, by the way, USA just funded somebody else's border to a tune of about $300 million. So everybody else can get a border under the Democratic administration, under the Democrats' administration, but America should not have a border. All right. Make it make sense, as we like to say in the hood. He said Mexico would pay for it. Well, I like to answer questions. I like that, Terrence. Hey, Terrence, you got many questions. I like it. Let's go. And I see the look. I see the little hand on his face like this. So let's talk about it. Now, he said Mexico would pay for it. In a lot of ways, we hear our people say sometimes you're going to pay for that. Now, they don't always mean financially. So let's talk about how Mexico paid for it. If you let's look at the first time he asked Mexico for 25,000 soldiers. See, you should do your research, my brother, because this is not new information. So, but I'm glad you're asking. So he said Mexico would pay for it, and he said it at the rallies and this and that. He said it in, so to speak, ways. But believe me, Mexico paid for it. So the first time he asked Mexico for 25,000 soldiers, they told him no. As a matter of fact, they laughed at him. By the time he got done talking to them about how he's going to tariff this and that and tariff this and that, that changed. So if your military is putting $25,000 in anybody's country, you're paying for that wall that's going up. And you probably paid more for it by the way Trump forced his hand. So you can look at it one way or you can look at it in another. Without the 25,000 soldiers, the money comes from us to put 25,000 U.S. men and women down there. He said, give me 25,000 of your soldiers and stop it on your side. Don't catch a release in America. Catch a release over there because they're coming through your part of the country. That's what he told him, my brother. Look it up if you're not sure about it. All right. Anyway. All right. So I was asking about, well, actually, I told you, you know what? This lets me know. I want people to know when you call people a Trump supporter, which I am, I don't have a problem saying that. But when you call people a Trump supporter simply by speaking truth, you make it sound like Trump is the truth. You got to be smart. If you're a Trump hater, don't make yourself seem dumb. If you're telling everybody, when you tell the truth, that means you're a Trump supporter. You are indirectly calling Trump the truth. you are indirectly saying Trump is a lot more true than he is false. You are indirectly saying this guy, I mean, come on, man. Come on, cut it out. Because I haven't really said much about Trump except done the things that people asked about. I've answered situations that my guy Torrance asked about, and I respect and I appreciate him asking, and I hope he look it up. But I only answer to those things. Other than that, I talked about black people worshiping a man or supporting, supporting, clapping, being proud of a man that just turned the justice of law on a sitting president. By the way, the same man that turned the justice of law against black people. That is similar to people who had Stockholm Syndrome during the Great Robbery. I don't understand, how can you support your captor? How can you support the same dude that tortured you just because he torturing somebody a different color? Or just because he torturing somebody you feel like is a billionaire and said a mean tweet that hurt your feelings? Come on, man, as Joe Biden would say. Come on, man. Come on. Civil War. Does anybody... Wow. Muhammad. My brother Muhammad. You got the music going. Okay, I gotta X you out, buddy. No, I gotta X you out, man. You got that music in the background, buddy. Anyway, yes, man. Somebody said Biden rocks. He might rock. I'm not saying Biden don't rock, man. You know, he might rock for some people, because for some people, he's doing, what they want him to do. I mean, obviously, everybody in New York, not everybody, but the jury thinks Biden rocks. So, I'm pretty sure there are a lot of people in the feed that feels like Biden rocks. All right, so 4 days before the RNC, they have sentencing. I was asking and looking for intelligent people to probably Biden is incompetent. Deanna says that. Deanna, do you think it is strategic that they will look to sentence Trump? Sandemus says it was an unfair jury. I agree. They had, hey, you know what? The thing about that is they only had what they had to work with. But even then, I think it was more than enough. So I agree with you, Sandemus. So do anybody think that is strategic and they're sentencing him 4 days before the RNC as a part of the plan to continue to do election interference? And the other thing is the debates. Jury of his peers. That's a thought. I doubt it. They wasn't a jury of his peers at all. And that may have been even worse, to be honest about it. So what about the RNC, the debate? Does anybody believe that Joe Biden took the debate finally? He didn't want to debate Trump. Remember that? Joel, it's too many videos showing it, right? Right, Joel? Too many videos showing it, and it's on too many other things. And on the flip side of that, Joel, Biden won't even say Jesus' name on Easter. Biden shut down Easter. So you got two totally different guys. Anyway, so you're right. Will this be effective? And how effective will it be? Somebody said he won't debate Trump, but he actually accepted the debate. But now I'm thinking this is why. They knew the verdict. You can actually see James Comey on some interview about 2 weeks ago talking about how he knew what the verdict was going to be before it's even ended, before the state, for the prosecution and the defense rested. James Comey was on all kind of interviews talking about how this was going to go. And we all remember James Comey. And I'm like, wow. And so when you consider Joe Biden didn't want to debate Trump, and suddenly he started saying, I'll debate you. As a matter of fact, he said he'll debate him twice. Why the big change? Does anybody think that change had something to do with, with him knowing what this crooked court was going to do? Pretty Blazing says, scary Biden, he already don't know how to talk right. Yeah. That is definitely a fact. But he knows how to do something else. He knows how to cheat. Yeah, he knows how to cheat really well. And he knows how to turn the arm of the government against whoever he's trying to attack. And in when he did the crime bill, he was trying to attack black men, women, and children. They said it as a wait. Let me say it because somebody else gonna look it up and say, "Oh, he didn't say women." You're right, but ain't it sad when you got to say, "Oh, he never said women." Okay, you're right. I digress. I correct myself. He made it an attack directly black men and boys. And that same guy now has said, I'm going to use that same power of the government and my pen to attack a former president. It reminds me. For the Trump supporters, I know you remember this. There was a time when I remember Trump during the rallies. He used to, the crowds used to do the chant, lock her up. Lock her up, lock her up, lock her up. But at one point, Trump said no. And he did like the lock her up chance. I remember he liked it for a while. But at one point, he said, no, we're not going to lock her up. We're going to beat her. Trump understood then, and he had too much respect for the presidency and the institution of the presidency, the government, to not even think about going there. Look at what has happened. How many former presidents or people in these positions, including Bill Clinton, including Barack Obama, for the crimes that they said he did with some of the bombings that he did, could have went down, or the House Republicans was talking about murder charges. They never even thought about that. Never thought about actually putting out charges. So it's a difference. It is a difference to how the Democrats are willing to use the arm of the government versus the Republicans, and it has definitely been evident. Ooh, some people so stupid, they'll talk about anything. Thief, debtors, oh man, are you? Ooh, they might be broke. All right, so Civil War. Civil War. I saw Civil War and I thought, to be honest, I actually said to myself, I really said after that movie, I said, wow, this seems more like a prediction. I really did. I mean, a lot of people just saying, might think, oh, he's just saying that. I really said to myself, this seems more like a prediction. I mean, they just walked in on a movie and pow, a, POTUS on the movie. I don't know much about it. If you're talking to me, I do know much about coming together. We do need to do that. I don't know much about the Vietnam War, to be honest. I know it was a war that we probably shouldn't have been in, especially as black people, as the great Muhammad Ali let the whole world know and was locked up for it. And so, unless they was talking about that. So great point. But that was a law. That was a law they put in, and that wasn't just for Muhammad Ali. That was for any color about dodging the war. And so we better be glad today. We the people need to take our country back. That is from Rachel Land. That is a fact. That is the Constitution. But anyway, I watched this movie, Civil War, and man, how serious can this get? Like I know that Trump has Secret Service, and could he go to jail? I mean, could somebody answer these things? I don't know. Guys, Trump hasn't had a fair shot at anything. Rachel is definitely right about that. You talk about black people's, Trump's dodged the war. I didn't. You think Trump dodged the war? Really? Find that and show it to me, and then find out what man was in power at that time that didn't lock him up, because war dodging, and you couldn't dodge the draft. That was not just for Muhammad Ali. And I'm not saying they would lock up every white man, but I'm positive there are some white people who are also locked up. So you can say it was about color, but I'm pretty positive it wasn't. All right, that okay. Good answer, Trey. Trey Fields, I appreciate that. And so yeah, Trey. Yeah, I'm sitting down and I'm thinking about that, and I'm thinking about what happened to the last billionaire that went in, and that the government didn't want secrets to get out that they felt like this guy had. And so, man, I was really thought about that today. And I was like wondering, how far could it get? Could they really confine a president? Maybe house arrest or something, but like I said, I thought about what happened to Epstein when he was arrested, and a lot of people don't believe what happened. All we know for sure is that there was a lot of information they felt like he had. And if we're paying attention, we know the Mar-a-Lago raid was about information they feel like Trump has. As a matter of fact, Trump is on record in front of the world, letting them know, when I'm done with being president, when I'm done, I'm going to tell y'all the secrets that they kept away from y'all with JFK and many other people. That's what Trump said. He probably should not have said it, but when you talk about the raid on Mar-a-Lago, that's what it's about. Information they believe he has there. That's what Epstein was about. Information they believe he had, and somehow they say he killed himself. I don't know. Allegedly, he killed himself. So I'm hoping that it doesn't get that far, and that no sitting president would have to face confines of jail or face political opponents like Trump is having to do by facing Joe Biden and this rogue administration. So I'm hoping civil war was not a prediction. We see how power hungry the left is, and they do not want to let it go. We see that they are willing to embarrass any institution to hold on to that power. All of the people who are acting like you're not above the law and he's not above the law, they're acting like 20 other politicians hasn't gotten away with this. They're acting like paying off somebody. By the way, Bill Clinton had to pay off Bill Clinton paid out almost $1 million behind his thing, behind him actually getting fellatio in the White House. Come on, man. But everybody wanted, the Democrats want to act like, oh, he's horrible. Stormy Daniels. What? This guy's in the White House with semen, dropping semen everywhere. You know what I mean? I mean, gee whiz. No, it doesn't. Hey, yeah. No. I'm not trying to justify anything. The left wants to have a total control over everyone. Rachel Ann is on the button. Yeah, they've proven that. They've proven they want to have control over everyone. And, I don't really have a lot to say about the verdict anymore. I wasn't really surprised by it. It's kind of funny. It's kind of really crazy. I wasn't surprised, but I was. I actually thought somebody would come in with a little restraint and say, you know what, we did enough. And now it's up to Joe Biden to go and try to beat him. We did enough. We drug him enough. We kept him from campaigning. We got this enough. No. And so I'm positive everybody in New York, I'm positive everybody on, why do you support a man who admitted to sexually assaulting women? Now, this is the person. I don't understand why users can't actually have a conversation. Mr. Vampire, you're right. That's what you're right. I said that wrong. Uh, um, I don't understand why people like this can't have a conversation. I am down to have that conversation. Why do you support a man who admitted to sexually assaulting women and believing it's his right? Now, first, I would like for you, because sometimes people try to sneak in stuff and they think you're going to fall for it, but I'm not. So, first, I would like for you to acknowledge, what part do you see him admitting to sexually assaulting women? Are you talking about the statement he made to Bush when he said he can grab women by the crotch? He didn't use the word crotch, I do understand, but I'm trying to be, whatever. And so when he said women, these are the words he actually said. Well, I won't say actually said because I might butcher a word. But he said, when you're a millionaire, this was the 80s, by the way, that person who's bringing it up, remember that, all right? And before you try to make yourself all perfect, because I know how people try to do that. Well, in the 80s, I was perfect. I never touched a girl's butt. Well, I'm going to just be honest. In the 80s, I was in high school. And in the 80s, I was in middle school. And touching girls' butts, however, I know that's not cool now, but touching girls' butts in 1984, 1985, and 1986 was in. And I didn't have to do it to recognize it being done. And so, yeah, he did make a statement about, in his mind, as an egomaniac, or a billionaire or a millionaire at that time, and as a person with an ego, and as a person who had bought and controlled a beauty pageant, as a person who had probably chilled with Hugh Hefner. I don't know. Nobody downs on Hugh Hefner. See, what you're trying to say, you don't even realize how stupid you sound. Because at this time, Hugh Hefner was the man. So what you're saying, you have to keep it in perspective to the time that you're talking about. The clip and the tape that you heard was for stupid people to think that it was a new tape, but it was not. It was something said a long time ago. Does it make it right? No. But the time that it was said, when we had people like Hugh Hefner, was highly upheld, and he was the man. You can see Playboy magazine still today, right now. Anyway, so yeah, he made that statement. Now, if you're talking about admitting it on the stand, I don't know where you went in that at. He didn't admit to anything. So what are you talking about? Nothing. You don't know what you're talking about. So let's talk about why you support. Now you said that to me. Now, let's talk about why you support a man who, according to a journal by his daughter. Let's see. I that journal, by the way, anybody that wants to look it up, anybody that actually cares, all you have to do, look this up. Ashley Biden journal. What's inside? There are pictures everywhere, and the journal has been confirmed. So for this idiot, I had an idiot. I apologize for calling him an idiot. But somebody asked me, how am I supporting a man that talked about touching women? As a millionaire, he felt like women didn't mind him touching their crotch back then in the 80s as a millionaire. The same time when Hugh Hefner was the man as Playboy magazine, and the same time when men had a male chauvinistic power about them, which is why the strong, courageous women movement was brought forward. All right. So anyway, that's that. So let me see. Let me find this picture. Let me find my picture because I wanted it sent directly to me, and I didn't want to. Oh man! All right, let's look at some of these pages. Somebody, by the way, look this up. Your day is coming. Unfortunately, you will see. I assume that's an argument with somebody else. So he asked me, why was I supporting a man who in the 80s made a statement about how he felt women didn't mind being touched on the crotch by millionaires. And by the way, if there are a lot of women right now today looking at you like you're stupid, because there are women right now today that will still take that touch by millionaires. They might not admit it, but all you have to do is turn on these social medias and turn on these what they call this thing, whatever. I don't got a lot of that stuff, so I don't have any of that stuff. What is it when these people get on this page where you OnlyFans, or these other places where you can buy, you can do the same thing that Donald Trump was just found guilty of doing. It's everywhere. Even the poor people are doing it. So that's ridiculous. She's talking about bathing with her father, which is probably inappropriate. Those are her words, not mine. She's talking about being sexualized. Let me see. I know it's. Wait, hold on. I mean, I really don't have time to be trying to read all of this. But if you just look it up for those that actually want to or would care, instead of actually just sitting down criticizing people who telling other people we support somebody who did something sexually assaulting or doing something to people who got charged with some type of sexual crime. Understand that this is this man's daughter who wrote this letter, and this letter is now public, and this letter has been confirmed as not letter, but the journal has been confirmed as real. Authentic is the word they used. And so Biden and Jill blessed that relationship. Yeah, I actually believe that. I mean, that wasn't that. We're not talking about Joe's daughter. We're talking about Jill's daughter. And so, yeah, that's the one he chose to bathe with. By the way, look at some of the stuff Hunter said about his dad as well. So for anybody who's sitting up trying to pat yourself on the back by making statements about Trump and his sex life and maybe an assault, some alleged assault and some alleged sex crimes, man, you really need to look at the guy who you're supporting. And if you say you support the guy that bathed with his daughter over the allegations that come from hookers and old people that just gotta stay relevant, and the lady that just got the money, she actually admitted that Trump never touched her. We wasn't even talking about an actual physical thing. We're talking about hurt feelings here. Yeah, Trump had to pay this lady for hurting her feelings. Oh man, wow. And so that's what that is what we're actually paving the way for. And for those who are applauding it, they have a saying: you laugh now, cry later. I hope when I consider what my people have already faced, when I consider what Black communities and poor communities have already faced, I don't mean to offend anybody, but for a lot of Caucasians and for a lot of America, a lot of white America, this was a shock. This was a horrendous shock, because this is a system that you uphold to the highest, and I'm not criticizing you for that. But I want you to know this. For the Black community, for the most part, I know there are some uppity Black people who have never struggled in their life that may be on the feed criticizing people, criticizing everything. They are so into me. Oh my gosh. If you can look at people's teeth and lips and clothing and hair and discredit everything they're saying, that makes you effectively an idiot. So anyway, and if you're an idiot, your kids are watching you. Don't be mad when they grow up to be idiots. Look at the college campuses, by the way. And so I tell you, my Caucasian friends, my white brothers and sisters, for those of you who have been shocked, disappointed at what you saw, disappointed at a system that you thought very highly of, and you might still do. If you're a Democrat, obviously, you're loving what's happening. You should, if you're a real Democrat, you should be embarrassed about what happened. Not embarrassed as a Democrat or a Republican, but as an American. Maybe you forgot about that somewhere along the way. But I want to tell you, my Caucasian brothers and sisters, my brothers and sisters, white, black, Spanish, Hispanic, Chinese, whatever you may be, my patriots, I want some of you to realize that this is the stories. This is, besides the size of it now, I do understand this is times 1 million. But these are the stories that black people, that black men have been talking about. This was not a surprise to a lot of us. And this, when I say not a surprise, what I mean is this is the same system that we have seen attacking us forever, attacking us through history, through family members. Maybe it never has affected you directly, but through so many different ways. And so I feel you. I feel those of you who are hurt. I seen some hurt patriots yesterday, man. I feel you, but I want you to know I share your pain. I probably share it from a different stance, but I'm letting you know a lot of us, we feel it. And we haven't felt it on this a different magnitude. Like I said, it's the president of the United States. So it is times 1 million. It's like times 1 million. But this is the broke arm of the law that has willingly attacked black people. And I'm not making it a color thing, so stay with me. And in regards to Joe Biden, it is not only the government of America. It happens to be the same damn individual man. The same man. You want to get a shirt and make some money? Some of you black cats that's on here just, bootlicking for Biden. Don't be lazy. Get off your butt. You want to go make some money? Whether you're Republican or Democrat, get you a shirt and put 1986 or 1984, whatever year it was, crime bill. Put a picture of them, what they was doing to the black people. Now, Trump, same guy. The same guy is using the tool and arm of the government to effectively abuse power. Stop listening. That's right. Tell him, Blazing. Tell him. He ain't going to stop listening. You know what? Actually, don't tell him to stop listening, because those are the dumb people, and if they're still listening, they're actually learning. So let them stay on. Let them learn something. He might be taking notes. Some people don't have the courage to say these things, and they can't even say them. And, their wife might want to hear them actually step up. So you take these notes and let your wife know that you are a man after all, my buddy. Because your wife is actually looking for you to be a man. And if you're still supporting the guy that called you an animal, you ain't a man. You're an idiot. I think I can be fair and still be godly and say that, right? Come to Detroit in 1980 and say that. I'm going to assume that that's a nice argument, and I'm pretty sure he's getting it to somebody. I see Darryl Brown, another black cat. You know what I'm saying? Daddy, and you know what? This even more telling. More than anything, it's the black old people. The older ones. I'm talking older than me. It's the older ones. The ones that actually grew, that actually I saw growing up. The ones that actually I looked up to. It's the old ones. The old ones that sit down still trying to be relevant. Go and get them a 20-year-old girlfriend who probably can't even drive. Probably in his 70s. It's the old bootlickers that still want to say we rather support Joe Biden, and if you like Trump, you the problem. No, brother, you the problem, because you are supporting somebody your grandmother and grandfather would have never listened to, because they wasn't telling people in the 80s and in the 70s you can change the gender of their children. You are directly supporting somebody who was talking about that. So slap yourself. Slap yourself. Slap yourself 2 times. Slap yourself again, Darrell Brown. Slap yourself. Somebody slap him. Anyway, let me stop before they stop me from saying saying violent things. I'm saying he should slap himself though, because I'm not being violent. But anybody, man, if you're born before 1970 and you on here talking about somebody else is Uncle Tommy or saying something negative about another black man and you voting for Joe Biden, man, you sleep. I'm going to take it back to the way we actually used to say it. Man, you sleep, bruh. You sleep, and your kids should be embarrassed by you. I mean, you actually coming from the time you actually saw some of the laws. And as a matter of fact, if you're a real black man, Mr. Brown, if you're a real black man, you actually went and voted for civil rights. Did you not? Did you not? Or are you a real uncle? Are you a real uncle? Answer the question, Mr. Brown. You got so much to say. Mr. Brown, did you not vote for civil rights? See, let me tell you, hey, watch this. Look at this, y'all. All of my Republicans and Democrat friends, look at this. Mr. Brown, did you not vote for the Civil Rights Act? If you're a real black man, you had to. Matter of fact, any of the black people coming in here criticizing me on my stance, answer me that. Did you vote for the Civil Rights Act? But I'm particularly asking Mr. Brown because he looked like he's about 80 years old, and he's saying something is wrong with me for supporting red instead of blue. And I'm asking you, if you're about 80, 70, 80 years old, you had to vote for Civil Rights Act. And you're telling me you support Biden over Trump? That means every time you took your old behind down there, and every time your mother and father got up their pennies, went down there, voting for busing, voting for jobs, voting for equality, voting for schooling, voting for civil rights, every time your people did that, you was hoping against it. They did that for you, and you don't even appreciate it because you're talking about voting and supporting the man that said, hell no. The man that said, I'd rather support what the Klansmen told me to support. Do you understand what you are saying, Mr. Brown? Anybody, and man, listen, if you're born in before 1970 and you're black, please do not tell people you support Joe Biden. Do not make yourself look stupid. Don't share to your children that you are an idiot because it is not right. You can never tell your children, if you ever want to tell your children, if you ever are one of those people that fake your way in February, if you ever get on all of this different garb, all of this African garb and look beautiful in February and start trying to tell your children how they need to learn their black history. If you find yourself doing that, if you were born before 1970, please keep your idiocy or your lack of education to yourself because your children are smarter. They have more information than you do. I am not ashamed to say that. My children have more than I do when it comes to information. I can call one of my kids right now or say, man, help me understand this chat GPT thing because I didn't, because I don't. So we should take pride when we see youth start telling us something that we should know. And as old people who has never done anything for the movement or for the black community, you should shut up. Because now you find yourself as a rock in a hard place. On one hand, you're going to lift up your hand and say, oh, I did this and that. Well, if you did this and that, then how are you sitting up talking about you support Joe Biden? Because everything you did, Joe Biden was against you saying, hell no. If you don't believe me, take it from Kamala Harris because she told you. She told dumb, old people who could not see the truth like you. I'm sorry, people. I'm sorry for blemishing my character, and I ask for your apology. I shouldn't have called him that. But anybody born before 70, and you're talking about a man, I'm talking about before 60. Joe Biden has been in politics for over 50 years. So if he voted with Robert Byrd, Klansman Robert Byrd, and he told you and me. As a matter of fact, he said it like not even like 2 or 3 months ago. He just admonished the great Senator Robert Byrd. Clinton, Hillary Clinton, also admonished Senator Robert Byrd. Now, since I am not a hypocrite, I have to acknowledge this. Robert Byrd is also on record backtracking a lot of his votes and a lot of votes that he made. And he apologized. See, I am not like the Democrats. I do recognize that some people change. And one of the reasons that why I'm forced to recognize it is because I am a man that did 10 years in prison. So when I see people that don't forgive people with a past, I understand that you will never forgive me as well. So I understand that Robert Byrd was a Klansman and he voted against civil rights and so many different things that for Black progress. Joe Biden supported him. Joe Biden is on record saying why he supported him. He's on record saying that is his mentor. And you find yourself voting for that guy, the same guy that said no to you, your grandmother, and probably your great-grandmother and grandfather. And yet you call me an Uncle Tom. The guy that actually supported the Black Panthers. The guy that actually has sat down with former Black Panthers, Harold Taylor. The guy that actually has been in London, England with Dead Prez. The guy that actually has marched on Washington for veterans. Yeah, I'm the Uncle Tom. Dumb people, keep your dumbness to yourself. It's okay. You should not embarrass yourself, though. I never supported the Black Panther. Stop lying. I tell you what. I don't know how much money you got, but bet somebody in the feed that I can put a picture up of me and former Black Panthers and me with Malcolm X's grandson before he was assassinated. And you bet and just bet somebody on here and see how much you lose. See how much you lose, you idiot. I like when people try to tell people about their other past. And this is coming from an actual dark, true Rican pride. Wow. I said nothing wrong to you. Now they say I'm photoshopping it. All right. Anyway, you're too young, brother. No, I'm not too young. Vampire, you say I'm too young. Why would you say that? I want to know how. I appreciate it. First of all, I appreciate that. I actually should take that as a compliment. I do appreciate that, but I'm not too young. You came from a money. Okay. Yeah, I'm not too young. As a matter of fact, if you want to look up some tours, I'll post a couple of pictures after, even though somebody already said that they can be photoshopped. I agree with all of that. You can stay in your ignorance if you like and say that everything I put up is Photoshop. But what are the chances that the same guy that can show pictures of himself on Big Ben in London, show pictures of himself with M1 and from Dead Prez, show pictures of himself with Rebel Diaz in Philadelphia. I've sat down with, I don't have pictures with him, but Immortal Technique. So if anybody who know any of the names that I'm saying, Immortal Technique, Dead Prez. As a matter of fact, I interviewed the Public Enemy, I just interviewed Chuck D from Public Enemy. Not just interviewed, but that was probably one of my first bigger music artists, revolutionary artists that I was around. I can show that interview. And so what I'm saying is, what are the chances that somebody with that type of portfolio is around kissing butt, is also lying or photoshopping himself into these situations? Those chances are highly unlikely. And so I don't know why you would want to take that credit from me, but that's cool. You know, I don't mind. You know, it's nothing that I actually put on a mantle and talk about a lot. It's nothing that I actually you know, make it as part of my profile or walk around saying, oh, I did this with that person and that person. But when I do hear idiotic people make certain statements, I try to say intelligent things that would let them know, no, this is why I can say this. This is why I can say that. I was in this movement for something odd years. I traveled the world with this organization. I did this sit in and that sit in. I've been part of controlled and protesting. I've been used by the government without even knowing it. And so I know what it is to play those roles, man. I know what it is to be a paid protester. I know what it is to march with Fight for 15 and then watch 5,000 out of 10,000 people get their feelings hurt because because everything's just changing, because one politician might say, we're going to change it. We're not going to fight for the union no more. We're just going to say Fight for 15 because Hillary Clinton's going to act like she's involved. I was there, brother. So you can sit down and you can be upset that you've been a bum all your life and never did anything to change or do anything to better life in America. But me, I have. I've been to several African liberation days all around America. You might not understand what African Liberation Day means. So I'll leave you alone on that. No, I'm not defensive. I'm not defensive. A lot of people actually tell me I just talk like that. You probably have to know me. But I can be a little defensive. When you get directly and personally attacked, you know, I'm trying to wonder, as a grown older man, why would I actually want to brag about putting myself in a picture with other people? Why would I fake having a picture with certain artists? I actually thought it was an honor to go. I thought it was an honor to tour. I thought it was an honor to share a stage with M1. I thought it was an honor to actually be on the street, do music with Rebel Diaz. But there are very few people I told that to. Very few. And so, and I shouldn't have to. Anyway, you know, they got it where Trump is going to trial or sentencing 4 days before the RNC convention. I'm kind of thinking that might be strategical. Yeah, you're right. I don't know if you see it. Let me see. Where do you see it at? My flag explains a lot. My flag. Oh yeah, on my shirt. It's my grandson's jersey. My grandson plays state baseball, and she probably wasn't saying that. I don't know what she's saying. She says, "Yeah, my flag explains a lot." Who are the young lords? I don't actually probably know who the young lords are. My flag explains a lot. Oh, okay. Type it in the comments, please. My flag explains a lot. Oh, somebody else telling somebody else their flag explains a lot. Man, I'm in here looking crazy. I'm looking for my flag because my flag a red, black, and green flag. And so I didn't know what she was talking about. Yeah. I'm like, what? Yeah. So anyway, but believe me, even with the red, black, and green flag, boy, I love that American flag as well. So I was talking about the person who commented, all right, Freedom One, that's what's up. I appreciate it. And man, I love the warriors that actually, you know, one thing about me, man, it's like this is a conversation. It must be had. And I don't understand why people don't actually, instead of going in with negative comments, this is actually the time. I mean, people like this, sometimes you're never heard. I mean, I'm actually saying, hey, let's be heard. Let's talk about it. You know, I love how Freedom One, Travis, a couple of people on here earlier, Blasian Mama, you know, so many people just, you know, help, you know, actually they help me out a lot as well, because I'm not too I don't know how to navigate on here too well, but I do know how to talk. Um, I did have a radio station for a reason, or a radio show. But as we see with so many things, you can get canceled easy. I don't mind saying, hey, I was canceled. So what? All right. So the Young Lords worked with the Black Panthers. I didn't claim to know all of the Black Panthers, and I didn't claim that I'm not that old. So I do understand and whoa, light issues, tighten up light bulb. And so yeah, I work with former Black Panthers who are still alive today. So maybe the Young Lords who know who Harold Taylor is. I know Harold Taylor. I've worked with Harold Taylor. He was a Black Panther. And Harold Taylor was in the Tampa area. If anybody in the Tampa area, matter of fact, if you're on here, you're in the Tampa area, you remember Harold Taylor coming to the Tampa area not too about 5 years ago, man, about 8 years ago. You also remember not only Harold Taylor coming, but Malcolm X's grandson, who was starting to walk into the shoes of his grandfather, doing the work. And right after he started doing the work, he was assassinated as well, as just like his grandfather. And so, yeah, if anybody in the Tampa area remember when they came to the area, please shut that clown up who told me I don't know Harold Taylor because I'm too young. I do appreciate the compliment of how young I look, but you can actually be in your 20s. And if you're doing work, you can get in touch with people. I mean, you don't have to have a certain age to get in touch with people who are still doing the work. And if nothing has happened to Harold Taylor as of late, judging by the way the country's going, with all of the control, you can actually get in touch with him. There is no age limit to organizing. So I'm not too young to know Harold Taylor. Why can't you answer? Freedom One. Let me see. Why can't you answer? They don't even open. Okay. I don't know what they're talking about. Wow. Okay. All we ask is respect. You right. Oh, you right. I agree. Itchy vampire. I agree. Everybody just wants a little respect. I don't think it's a lot because if you're actually said to be not blue, it gets really nasty. Somehow Trump has turned into truth, because if you're speaking truth, somebody will jump right on and say, why are you supporting Trump? So I'm wondering at what point, I don't understand how some people don't realize what they're saying when they say that. Yeah, anyway. So if you haven't watched Civil War, you should watch it. It's a really good movie. Why don't you answer? I wonder what is that about. Let's see. Okay, so good luck with Donald Trump. Because of him, you seem like you don't know much about him. Young Lords worked with the Black Panthers. Where is it that what was Blazing Mama saying? All right, well, I think I do know a lot about Donald Trump. Fortunately, I think at this point, all of America knows a lot about Donald Trump. I don't think nobody is uninformed about Trump. More information. I mean, they're telling you what this guy did in the 60s, in the 70s. I mean, you can actually. I mean, where is this little thing? Hold on, wait a minute. Let's listen to Donald Trump. Listen to this really quick, especially the Trump haters. Let me give them something else to hate about. Oh man, this is awesome. Let me give them something else to hate about. Let me give them something else to hate about. Let's see.
Why wouldn't you dedicate yourself to public service?
Talking to Donald Trump.
Because I think it's a very mean life. I would love and I would dedicate my life to this country, but I see it as being a mean life. And I also see it that somebody with strong views and somebody with the kind of views that are maybe a little bit unpopular, which may be right, but may be unpopular, wouldn't necessarily have a chance of getting elected against somebody with no great brain but a big smile. And that's a sad comment in the political process.
Yep.
Television in a strange way.
See, it's like, you know how old that was? He said this was like the 70s. This was young Donald Trump. He said way back then, actually it was early 80s, but he said way back then, he probably could never get elected and would never run for president because of how dirty the game was, and probably could never get elected because of how timid people's feelings were. How you could be dumb with a good smile and get elected. How soft people were. They couldn't handle the truth. I mean, man, that was a great interview from young Donald Trump, way in the 80s, actually calling it out. And now some of the things that he actually talked about has actually come. I was responding to a stupid comment someone made. Oh, okay. Yeah, Blasian, those things happen a lot. The people who really hate Trump, they really come out to say anything stupid at any given time, and they will willingly miss the point. They will willingly miss what you're trying to say. But I'm only saying, you know, there's a great movie called Civil War. If you haven't watched it, you should watch it. And when you watch that movie, actually consider what you just saw. When you watch that movie, actually consider what we see them doing to a president. Actually consider how strong, how much power the Democrats are fighting to hold on to. Actually consider when they say a threat to democracy, they are living the actual threat. They are the actuality threat right now. They are the real-time threat. Actually consider what's going on and watch that movie. And then watch the Obama film that he's behind called Leave the World Behind. Man, we got to start. I'm not a real, you know, I know a lot of it is just drama, but a lot of these movies are real, especially when we start considering that the CIA has a lot of a big stake in the Hollywood thing. They got their own branch of it, so they can influence movies as well. Look that up for the haters. I know y'all don't like to hear the truth, but look that up as well. That is how they have the influence on what should be said, how, and how it's going to influence what, when, and how. Let me see. Lifelong liberal, but will. My goodness, what is this person's name? Just chill. Just chilling over here. Okay. Just chilling over here. I appreciate your comment. And I appreciate the fact that, see, that's a person that actually understands what's going on. This person made an informed statement before they made a statement. Lifetime liberal, but voting for Trump. What is wrong with some of my people that have married themselves to the Democratic Party and find it an offense to actually step out of bounds for a little bit and say the right decision right now might not be the same people that have been tearing down black cities all over the country for the last 40, 50 years, in some situations longer? I don't understand it. I appreciate you just chilling over here, understanding how important it is to let other people know you actually listen and you actually are deciding to make an informed decision on what you have heard, learned, and have experienced over the last few years. Even people with $1 in their pocket understand that the U.S. dollar has lost some of its, about 15 cents, right? 14 cents. The dollar is nowhere near as powerful as it was when Trump went away. That hurts everybody, man. And I don't care what you talk about. when you start talking about people money, I guess they don't understand. You know, it's funny. You might not understand, for my brothers that love Biden. You may not understand it, you know, when a man that called your mothers and fathers animals and your sons and daughters animals if you're black. And you might not understand it when that same guy says Barack Obama, by the way. Barack Obama is how old? I mean, Joe Biden was running with Barack when? In 2008, right? Am I right? 2008. Let's talk about that. Joe Biden, for all of y'all black people who getting on here criticizing Trump, Joe Biden said Barack Obama was the first black man he had ever met that smelled good and talked good. So, come on, man. I mean, you can't, brother. Don't try to go there with no black people who actually know what they're talking about. And don't try to go there with a white person because you're going to get mad at them. Because that white person that know what they're talking about going to make you feel and look stupid. Because Joe Biden is on record saying the most atrocious things about you if you're black. About your daughters, sons, and about your fathers and grandmothers and grandfathers if you're black. So don't try to argue with somebody else about Trump being racist. It won't come out good. You might end up calling that other person racist, you know, because you're going to get ate up. So, yeah. By the way, that is the same guy that said he didn't want his kids going to school with other black kids. In other words, he didn't want a racial jungle. That wasn't Trump. That was not Donald Trump. Yeah, man. Wow. And so I'm just trying to understand it. If you actually look at that movie Civil War, please consider some of the things that we are seeing lately. And please consider, look up Stockholm Syndrome. And I know it isn't directly applied. I know nobody just robbed a bank. And I know Joe Biden didn't do this and do that. I know what I know what happened. But the bottom line was these people, the hostages and some of the people who were caught and captive and held captive, actually, felt remorse for their captors, for their torturers, for their terrorists. And there are black people right now feeling remorse, feeling happiness, feeling celebratory, feeling supportive of the person that directly affected your life in one way or another. Now, if you're one of the black people who says the crime bill affected me in no way, shape, or form whatsoever, I applaud you. I applaud you and I applaud your family for putting you in the right community and giving you the great upbringing to where it never bothered you. But even if you heard about it, it should have bothered you. So, yeah. And I think at this point, there should not be no human around in America that hasn't heard about it, because we hear about it one way or another, even if we heard about it from the Democrats. We've heard about the crime bill. And so that directly came from Joe. And you can't find yourself tied to this guy and at the same time telling your children and telling your wife, telling your family members you fought for the Black Revolution. You stood for the Black community. You stood for the furtherance and the progress of Black life. You stood up for your daughters in school sports. You can't even say that. You can't even truthfully say that. And so, yeah, it was not authored by Joe Biden. Why do people keep saying that? What? Who is this person? Because I told people earlier, I understand that Bernie Sanders had a small hand in it. But it was authored by Joe Biden. Smart guy. Yeah. I just want to tell you something. That's a small person that want to pick Nikki pick. Yeah, Joe Biden needed somebody to pass it. Ask Bill Clinton who passed it. I mean, ask Bill Clinton who pushed him to pass it. I understand the small role and some of the things that Bernie Sanders may have added, but Bernie Sanders was not the one explaining what Joe Biden meant when he said predators and super predators. That was left up to the Clintons and Joe Biden. And so, and as a matter of fact, you're saying you didn't. He actually knows he did. And most everybody else. So you can have your feelings and you can have your nitpick the way you just say, oh, well, he didn't actually write it. Oh, well, he didn't actually do this and that. Those are weak-minded people who say, well, you're the same one that's saying, I support the verdict because he didn't actually do this, or he actually knew about it, even though the lawyer said that he didn't know about it, and all of the testimony that couldn't come in or wasn't allowed, and all of the gag orders and this and that, all of the judge payments to Joe Biden's campaign, none of that is relevant to you because they didn't get caught. So your candidate and your favorite guy never got caught or charged with his crimes. So you say that's good because cricket people charge Trump. That's the way you stand on a victory. That's the victory you like to claim. All right. Well, okay. Wow. West Side. West Side says the crime bill was needed because gang violence was at an all-time high crazy. I don't disagree with West Side. I disagree with how he started it. Actually, wait a minute. Let me actually tell you. Let me actually be a little bit more forward with you, West Side. You are right, as in that is what they put in the papers. But if you look at that right now, the crime bill was passed almost similar to the way Saddam Hussein had weapons of mass destruction was passed. The media can help get anything done. And as we all know now, at this point, there was no weapons of mass destruction. There was just lost American lives, 25 years of this and that in Afghanistan. And I don't know everything, so I won't try to act like I do when it comes to, oh my God, does anyone really take you serious? Well, hey, and so I don't know how, I mean, they stayed in Afghanistan for far too long. Most experts at this point say the hunt for Saddam Hussein was a farce. And so if you're taking what I'm saying and you're upset about it, I'm saying I believe the crime bill was done the same way, blown out of proportion to go and get the victims or the suspects that they wanted to go and get. I don't think the war, I don't think things were as bad as they was, because if they was, you're saying gang violence. Look at what you said, my brother. You said gang violence was at an all-time high. The crime bill was not about gang violence. The war on crime was about gang violence. And that is two different things. That is two different presidents or two different politicians. And people, there are some people in here who actually know that I'm speaking the truth. There are some people in here. I was one of those gang, I'm not saying you're not. Understand what I'm saying. And I say that with much respect, because if you were one of those gang members and you're sitting down listening to me, I appreciate it. And that means somewhere along the way, you made a change in life. So, bro, I appreciate it. And I'm not knocking anything you said or did. I'm asking you to understand the difference between the crime bill, because there was a crime bill, and there was the war on crime. The war on crime was more about the gang violence, as you said, brother. And with that, and I think that was more under Bush. I could be wrong, but I'm using the word I think. And I think that was more Bush with the war on crime, rather than the crime bill, which was the predators who were selling crack cocaine, the super predators. By the way, the white people who were caught with crack cocaine, as you know, did not receive the same sentences. So we're talking about two different things. The crime bill was directed to black men caught selling or dealing with what they call crack cocaine mostly. The war on crime was dealing directly with, as my brother would say, it wasn't the bill, it was the judges over sentencing. Oh yeah. No, bro. You need to go and look, man. You need to go and look at the bill, brother. Yeah, I'm with you, but you need to go and look at the bill. All right. Don't argue with me, argue with the bill. And just go and look at it. And then if I'm wrong, which I know I'm not, because I was a victim of the crime bill itself, myself. And at the same time, was I not only a victim of the crime bill, but when I caught a gun charge later in life, they tried to convict me again of those same drug charges. So, brother, I'm not just on here talking. They tried to convict me again of the same drug charges because of a gun charge. And I had to, another reason why I'm not a horrible person to listen to, because I do know what it is to sit down and put my pen to paper and fight the appellate court. And so I had to go to appellate court and beat my own charges. I don't know. And so I had to go and beat my own charges. And first of all, I want to give glory to God for that, because that was the only way that happened, first and foremost. But I was one of those victims of the crime bill. So you ain't gonna get a lot. You're not gonna get too far with me on that as far as facts, because I'm a victim of it. Not only am I a victim of the crime bill, but I'm also a supporter of the First Step Act. And by supporting the First Step Act, I was one of the people getting letters and stuff sent to prisoners and asking people to support, because to get out, and First Step Act, by the way, is people are the people that were affected. The Trump, when he ripped up the crime bill or threw out the crime bill, First Step Act helped over 25,000 black men and women and children, or families, I should say. And so, but to get out, they had to have letters of this and letters of that. And I was one of those people instrumental in helping out some of those brothers. So I've been on both sides of it. So you can't tell me much about it. I know one tore down families, which was the crime bill written and passed and pushed by the Democrats. And if that help you, if that make you feel a little bit better, Democratic brother, one bill was written, pushed, passed, and forgotten about by the Democrats, all of them. And one bill was thrown away by a Republican named Donald Trump. And so one party was willing to tear up families because of color only, and one party was willing to put together those families based on that same color. I don't know how else it gets. I don't know how easier it gets to actually separate the two. Yeah. Watch that movie if you get a chance. Civil War. Then when you have a little bit, Obama started it. Obama started what? Obama did not start the crime bill. Obama just left it alone. Or are you trying to say Obama started trying to get rid of the crime bill? I want to be fair. I think he might. Okay, that's what he's saying. West Side. All right. So West Side is saying Obama started trying to get rid of the crime bill. I want to push back with you on that. His second term, I'm gonna push back with you on that. I want to say, yeah, you are right. You are right. First, you are 100% right, Wes. You're 100% right. Obama, started those negotiations. But Obama was also a bully president. They called him a bully president. Look up that reference. And I'm just being honest. Why did they call him the bully president? There are some people that are listening that already know what I'm talking about. There are some people, even people from the military, that already know what I'm talking about. There are some people from the Spanish community that already know what I'm talking about. He was a bully pulpit when he wanted to be. Why do they say that? Because he used executive decision whenever he wanted to. He used it more than any other president. As a matter of fact, he used it more than a lot of them combined. Obama did what he wanted to do when he wanted to do it. So you are right that he started the negotiations, but when they said no, he left it there. That was it. Yeah, you had people like Mitch McConnell who got in the way. I do understand. You had Republicans who got in the way. I do understand. You're right. But they got in the way when he wanted to do the gay stuff. They got in the way when he wanted to do don't ask, no, don't tell. They got in the way when he wanted to do a whole bunch of stuff that he did. You know what he did when they got in the way? Mack truck. Bam. Run them down. Run them over. He bullied. He used executive power. So what was my guy? West Side, you're right. Obama did start and open and try to say, hey, can we do anything for these black people that Joe Biden tried to railroad about 20 years ago? Yes, Obama did ask. But when they said no, he said, okay. I just thought I'd ask. Anybody remember Eddie Murphy Raw? Anybody remember that? Okay. I won't ask no more questions. You hear all of that, you just say, okay. Obama said, okay. That was it. He tucked his tail. When some of them same people that said no to the crime bill said no to don't ask, don't tell, Obama said, the hell with you. Executive decision. When they said no to some of that other stuff, Obama said, the hell with you. Executive decision. When it came to no to the crime bill, the thing to help the black community, as a matter of fact, Obama is on record. And Kamala Harris just put her stuff on record saying the same thing. It's a great Instagram post out about it. Obama is so funny. I love how these people put these posts together. But there's a great post where Obama is on record saying, no, I'm not the black people's president. I won't commit to that. I want to be America's president. We kind of understand what he meant. But what's wrong with actually embracing yourself? All right, so he said he wouldn't. Kamala Harris is on TV boldly saying, I won't commit anything to black people because I'm America's president. These people are on record saying this. And then right after they showed those reels and showed those clowns saying that, they showed Donald Trump on TV saying, this is what I will commit to the black population. This is what I will commit to the black community. He wasn't scared to say it. This is what I will commit to the black. And then the funny thing is, if you're really watching, it's like, why did he have to commit to a black community or black population that gave nothing to the Republican Party? But he did it anyway. He did it anyway. And some people still don't give him a chance. Some people still didn't give him a chance. Research your ancestors' history. I don't know what he's talking about. All right. I don't know what he's talking about. So let me see. These kids have no idea. Let me see. Of what Reagan did. Oh man, Reagan was strong. That's why they don't like. I think Trump. What? Oh man, what I did. Wow. They said I did hate speech. Oh my goodness. I say they just cut it off because they said I did a hate speech. Yeah, man. Even TikTok. So anyway, I won't worry about that. That's about 8,000 viewers later. Almost 9,000 viewers. Got a couple of diamonds. I appreciate those who giving up the diamonds. Thank you. And man, if you haven't watched that movie, watch it. It's getting crazy. More than ever, we need to be armed with the full armor of God. Peace.